Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk It Out. My name is Okito Emmanuel,
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk It Out. My name is Promise Adekola.
Hello everyone, my name is William Chimere and welcome to Talk It Out.
and we have a guest here with us, Engineer Tega. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you just briefly tell us about yourself and your background?
Well, as you said, my name is Tega, Ogene Tega Joel, from Nigeria, Delta State. I was born in Edo State, lived there for like a year. I was then moved to Delta State. We're just two. It's me and my sister, and like I said, I grew up in Delta State. My parents raised me and my sister to be very close. So my upbringing was usually just me and my sister. It was a small family, and yes, that's it.
So, how did you come to Cyprus? How was that? And you entered into engineering because you're an engineer, right?
Yeah, I'm an engineer. How did I come to Cyprus? Okay, so I just finished writing. I just finished SS3, and at that time I knew I was not going to school in Nigeria. So at that time, IELTS was mostly a requirement for most countries you wanted to go to. So at that time, I was writing IELTS in a center, and these guys they also do admission, education consultant. So in the process of that, then they just offered. They said, "Have you heard about Cyprus? It's easy to go into. It's easy if you want to get visa. It's not so hard." So, and it was relatively cheap as well. It was not as expensive as UK and the rest of likes of them. So that was how I found myself here in Cyprus.
Okay. So, what influenced your choice of course? I mean, you studied, I think, mechanical engineering. So, what influenced your choice of course?
I've always been this person of just a hands-on person. So usually whatever is going on in the house, I'm just curious as to, okay, what's going on. If there is, let's say for example, someone's fixing generator, I'm usually just watching, okay, what's this guy doing? How's it doing? So I was always curious as to how things work, including mechanical things and stuff like that. So mechanical seemed like it's like a base, it's a very neutral, it's not a niche engineering. Yeah.
It's broad.
It's a very broad engineering field. So that was how I decided to go into mechanical engineering.
So, since you come to Cyprus, how has it been your time in Cyprus? And if you had to imagine it compared to you being in Nigeria, how do you think your time spent in Cyprus is different?
Okay, my time spent here in Cyprus, I would say it has been generally good actually, generally good. Education here was okay. Mostly theoretical though, but I mean I did learn some things, too. You asked if it was better than Nigeria. I mean I didn't school in Nigeria, so I wouldn't know exactly how the system is, but based on what I've heard, I would say I'm thankful I was here, I did my education here compared to being in Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay, but because you said you studied mechanical engineering, right? And then we know in Nigeria, there's this kind of idea that mechanical engineering is like mechanics.
Indeed.
So didn't you think
I mean,
about this when you go into mechanical
I'm
engineering?
sure my sister used to always tell me that I'm like, okay, I'm going for mechanical engineering. She'll be like, so you're a mechanic. I'm like, no, there's engineering inside. I prefer, it's not just mechanic. And usually I think most of the mechanics that you refer to in Nigeria, they're usually unskilled. They just learn the trade by themselves, not actually perhaps going to get a formal education. But they are still engineers, of course. But there's still a difference when you have an education. You learn more of the intricate things going on in engineering. So I would say there is a difference between being a
Mechanical engineer.
and mechanics, yeah.
So, we had the best graduate in your set. How was that? What were steps that you took to achieve that?
Yes. Thankfully, I was the best graduate in mechanical engineering student
Okay.
in the group. And
Interesting.
it was a proud and humbling moment as well. But I think it was during my second year in university. Usually, I didn't go to my graduation. I didn't attend any graduation ceremony in my first year. So the first graduation I went to, I saw someone just walking up to. Usually, the best student comes up to give a speech.
Yeah.
And just how I felt when the person came up, it was just so good, and I felt like yes, this is something to work forward to. This is something that I would like, because of course, I did have I didn't have the goal to like work and do the best that I could, but it was like an extra just something else that you could at least work onto and just say, okay, yes, this is something that I want to achieve. So how did I go about doing that? I knew that usually, I feel like it's not just about final exams or it's not just about final exams. Midterm exams count for me. And more than that are those easy marks that you get during classes. Let's say the lecturer comes, gives bonus questions. Who knows this question? It just gives you, and you answer, you get 5 marks, you get 10 marks. And usually those are like differentiating factors between, let's say, B, A, and AA. 1 mark or 2 marks can take you on to the next level. And usually, sometimes exams can be very hard, but before exams, you've already gotten like 30% already. So you're only just working for others may be working to get 100% to try and get a good mark. But let's say you already have 30% already. So even if you get 70 over 100, you're still getting 100, something like that. So any opportunity to get extra marks, I just made sure that I went for it.
Because
Okay.
you know that in engineering,
Yeah.
because I'm also doing engineering as well. So when you're talking about
You know the deal, yes.
what you went through, there are some courses, in
Strength of
engineering
materials.
that give people some tough time, and a lot of
Physics.
students are failing it, like programming, and so I don't know if you have any idea about programming.
I mean,
How was it for you?
programming then, okay, well, actually right now I'm a software developer, so I do know
Interesting.
quite a lot about programming. But so then we took a course, we took programming 101, computer 101, programming 101. As a then it was not the hardest, but not the easiest, because I was already just like messing around, just looking at computer things. So I was very interested in it. So it was it came easier for me because I was interested, and I just went on my own, just did a little practice of what we were doing. Even before class, I already understood what they were doing. So it came slightly easier for me because I
Okay.
was interested in it. Yes.
Okay. Being a Christian actually in a student-friendly environment, there can be a lot of pressure, maybe to succumb with things a lot of people do, maybe cheat in exams or skip classes or do things that are just against your convictions. So how was it for you? Like, because, let's say there's an exam, everyone is saying, you know it, why don't you want to help me? You are wicked, and different things like that. So how was it for you?
For me, it was, I knew that, okay, this is something that I could not do. It was something that I didn't want to do. So what that meant for me, what that translated for me was like, I just had to read, because if I knew that if I don't read, if I don't understand this thing, if I go to the exam, there is no additional help coming. So, I was also praying and telling God that, yes, you know that this is what I've decided to do. So I had to make sure that I knew everything that I was going to write in the exam, because if I do go there and I don't know anything, there's nothing I can do. And I vividly remember there was actually one exam like that I think that was actually a challenge, where I think it was, what course was it? Was it thermodynamics or was it strength of materials? It was thermodynamics, I believe. So I'd gotten to the exam, I'd read, but I got to the exam and I seemed like I didn't understand. I didn't know jack. I didn't understand what to do in the exam. And everyone seemed to be, when you look around and everybody's writing something and nothing is coming to you, you're like, what's going on? So I decided, I had prayed, I told God that, okay, this exam, I'm just going to leave it. So I didn't write so much and I just left it. And my result came, and my result was actually generally bad. It was a generally bad result. But because I didn't write the exam, I was able to meet the lecturer. I didn't write much. I went to meet the lecturer and explain that, okay, see, I don't know what happened. I tried to explain, can I be in the makeup exam? And because he saw my grade was so low, he allowed me to do the makeup exam. And thankfully, the lecturer was actually, when he saw my grade, he felt like I didn't know anything at all. So he now brought a one-on-one exam with me and him together. He literally thought there was no way I would do it. So I started solving the exam in front of him. And he gave me a couple of questions, I think like 4 questions. He made them so hard. So I was writing the first question, and then he looked at me, he looked at the question, like, you failed? Because he told me, I think I got a DD, but he told me that I was supposed to fail the exam. That he just actually pushed me to DD, that normally I failed. I told him I still want to take this exam again. He told me, okay, I should start solving. I started solving, and then he looked at what I was doing. He was like, you failed it, or I told you should have taken DD, now you failed this course. All that morale, all that hype that you have, just suddenly, you're on the first question, your 4 questions, it dies off instantly.
Wow.
So he told me I should just stop. I told him, okay, I can solve the last question. He said that's impossible, that's the hardest question. He told me if I can solve it, it's going to give me AA right there. And I knew it. I asked him, sir. He said yes, and I started solving. The look on his face when he looked at what I was writing, and he saw like, okay, this person knows what he's actually writing. And that was how I was able to scale. And I felt like it was just God helping me, because if I'd done that exam, I don't know if most people feel, so even if I'd copied from someone or something, say I gave into the pressure and copied, probably I would have gotten a very low grade and I would not be able to take receipt exam. So that was how just God helped me for that as well.
Okay, it's true, because now succumbing to that kind of pressure, you are going against God. A lot of times it doesn't still lead to that success that people look for easy ways to success. That's cheating, doing other things that are against God's will. But you chose to stand and do what you could, and depending on God, did not succumb to that pressure that might not have even led to success. So it's very, very, very good, actually.
And even the lecturer, with the first question telling you that you should have just stopped. I mean, without discouragement, you were still able to go on to solve the next question.
Because actually, the first question, like he said, that I actually failed, I got it correctly. He later looked at it and saw that, it was his own mistake, not actually my mistake. So it was correct.
Interesting.
This kind of experience, do you think, has it happened in any other course that you've had?
Maybe not particularly like this, but I would say looking back, there are definitely instances of, let's say, of seeing God's hand at work in my education. Is definitely.
Another reason why we are here is because you created something, an app, that can be used for something. So can you tell us what that is for?
Okay, I created an app. It's called Tega.
Okay.
And it's used for writing codes on your mobile phone. Because conventionally, I mean, if you want to build apps or if you want to build a website, you need a laptop and you need to be able to type type codes in your laptop. But what this app helps you do is that you're able to use your phone, type those codes for writing a website, and you can see the results actually.
So it's like something like Visual
It's like
Studio
VS Code for Visual Studio Code for mobile phone.
So you can write any language in this app.
You can technically write any language in this app, but at the moment it's currently tailored to if you're doing web development, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, languages like that. It's fully supported. It even has like a browser. Let's say you finish writing your code and you want to quickly check to see how it's looking like. You can one click of a tap and just see how it's looking like. If you also want to you're using the phone as well, your features let's say you're developing on the phone and maybe people are using your website on the laptop. If you want to see how it's looking like, have an emulator that can show it to you, show you how your website that you created on the phone look like on an iPad, on a MacBook, on any desktop device. So,
Wow.
So what can you say led to? Because there have to be, a hunger, or you maybe doing something that was, okay, wow, I can do this, I can make this. What led to the creation?
Why create it for phones? Why didn't you do it for laptop?
Were you trying to do something on a computer and this idea came to you that if I can do this for a mobile phone, so I can be able to code anywhere at any time?
So at that time, my software development journey was actually self-learning, and I started with web development. I'd learned how to create websites and things, and then afterwards, I felt like I had more interest in mobile apps. So I started learning how to develop mobile apps, and it was initially it was early on in my learning journey, and I'd learned, since I already had knowledge of how websites work and some things like that. So as I was building apps, I realized that it was possible. Because I do many practice apps, just develop little apps here and there, and I just had an idea. I was like, this could possibly work if I can be able to mix these two things together. I might have the most basic version of what VS Code on the phone would look like, just being able to type codes and seeing the result already. So that was where the idea came from. And that was how I started it. I think I worked on it for maybe a month. I mean, it was as of this time, I'm talking about the most basic version of what a code editor should be like. No syntax highlighting, no code suggestion, nothing like that. It was just plain. But the idea was there already. And subsequently, I've been building up to make it what it is today.
Okay.
And what kind of phone does this app run on?
I mean, it runs on, for now, it primarily runs on Android devices. So whatever Android devices, be it tablets, be it on any Android device at all, it's going to be able to work.
And it's on the Play Store.
It's on Play Store.
Wow. Interesting.
Okay. Actually, we want to know the challenges you faced because, I mean, definitely there should have been some struggles you faced. Saying that you just randomly came on this project. So there might be things that you didn't expect. So can you tell us about the challenges and how you overcome them?
I mean, it's always been, for me, it was every little feature I had to do. I mean, usually in coding, sometimes some of those things are unique. Some of those features I'm trying to build on a mobile phone, they're very unique. So it takes a lot of like, some of those things seem very impossible because, for example, you're comparing building a, let's say you know about VS Code. VS Code is so fast on the system and you want to build the same system on a phone that has less CPU. It's not as powerful as a laptop. But you want to make features that has code suggestion as you're typing is analyzing your code instantly and still being fast. Things like that were very easy to come by. It takes a lot of thinking, a lot of research. So many things has to go in place. Some of those features I practically thought it was impossible to be able to do. Because, and bear in mind that this was also during my learning period. So I was not like a pro programmer at this point. So I was learning, the things I was learning, I was adding more features. As I'm learning more, I'm adding more features, building it more. So challenges for me would be in terms of the features that I had to most of the features that I had to implement. Those were some major challenges that off the top of my head are just coming to mind.
Did you also have like debugging challenges? Because I remember when I was in C++ and I'm like, for hours.
Trust me, there are days that I just spend one particular feature, you're just bugged on it. Like a week, you're just thinking, okay, you're just struggling to make something work. For example, there was even just the whole process itself, like there was a time when, because the app was free, it was free on Play Store, and I was beginning to have more users because initially it was just like maybe 1, 2, 3 downloads per week. At this time I was already having like, let's say 200, in a month, 300. And I saw that my user base had increased and there was probably a way I could monetize on it. But that would mean that I cannot just monetize existing features. I have to create something that has value, more value, and offer that as premium features. So I had to like really spend time just revamping the app, creating it again. I probably spent at least 8 months of just constant work, morning to night, just working on it for like 8 months straight until it was ready it reached a stage I felt like, okay, yes, these are enough features that I can monetize on.
So at what stage can you say the app is? Because sometimes when you're downloading some apps, you see, you know it better, you can explain better. When you're doing some apps, you see 1.0, you see
basically
2.0,
yes.
So at what stage can you say this app is technologically speaking?
I mean, I would say it has gone far, surpassed my imagination by far.
I mean, 1 million downloads.
Are you serious? 1 million downloads?
Yes, actually.
Wow.
Currently, I think it's probably it only shows 1 million because he updates 1 million, 5 million right now. It's like around 2 million. And around 2 million downloads. And
what's the name of the app again?
It's called Treb Edit. Treb Edit. Yes.
Okay.
And it has like an average rating of 4.5 stars on Play Store with about
incredible.
6,000 or 7,000 reviews.
Wow. I never knew this. Wow.
So
I'll check it out, definitely.
So it has reached stage that I didn't think was possible because if you had told me, say 2 years ago, you're going to have 1 million, come on. How is that going to happen? So
Actually,
it's just from like, because I kept on improving and constantly working on it, making sure, because I also use it. So, you know, when you use something, you tend to know where to improve. So I'm always using it. I'm also always listening. I take feedback so important. I'm always listening to, okay, yes, this is what I have to do. I mean, at the moment, there's so many things I have to do. But the things I've done, I made sure that I was very detailed to those things to make sure that those things work well.
one thing that's very important from your story is determination. You were really determined to make it work. Though there were challenges. I mean, I even want to ask you a question though. There were challenges, but you were really determined to keep going. And how was your self-teaching journey like? Because I know that there are many things that can be hard to learn online, though there are videos, but I mean, finding a good teacher is there, finding a good platform to learn from, and different things are there. So how was the journey for you being self-taught?
Initially, it was, it started as just, okay, let me just explore and see what these things are. This was probably in my late undergraduate or my, maybe my third year or so. I was just exploring to see what it is. And then I started learning web development. And I would say determination as well. Just initially, I saw the potential in it, so I was learning. I used Udemy to learn.
Okay.
Udemy had like for app development, I used Udemy to learn. So they had a very good course. So I would usually just download the videos, keep watching. I mean, it was not always easy because sometimes, even initially when I started, because I didn't have Minister of Web Development, I didn't think I was good yet until someone saw something that I had done. I was like, "You did this?" I was like, "Yes." That was what gave me that first self-confidence that yes, I'm actually doing something, because initially I just thought I was just playing
Passing
around.
time.
And then he saw what I was doing. He was like, "You did this." And he was so shocked at me. I was like, "Okay, so I actually did something here."
Wow.
And that was how that helped me as well. So I kept on moving and improving and just trying to learn because I saw potentials in it. And yeah, so that was most of the
I
journey
think
for me.
something I can point out is, your willingness to, like you see, use the app, and then you see people's response to the app and issues maybe that they want, that they maybe are faced with the app, and that willingness to listen, to learn, to do criticisms, and then to work on making the app better, taking something to comment with, and then also in the light of you also. It's a problem-solving app.
Yes, definitely.
Problem-solving app, and people will want to use it to do a lot of other things in the future. So are there, let's say, other ideas you're looking at, also in this problem-solving category, ideas you're looking at or making even after this, the solving of this?
That's beside Trebel. It's any other
Yes,
ideas
yes,
I have. I do have some other ideas that I want to start working on. I don't know if I'll be able to share here, but I do,
It's
okay.
I do have other ideas that I hope to start working on.
It's really inspiring because users of the app might not really know what the producer went through, and you saying like you made this app all by yourself.
I think most persons may not even believe that. I mean, most times I always go with the we as well. It's usually my replies are usually we. They feel like it's probably a team of proper engineers working on it. It's just me behind my computer just typing.
Oh, that's really great. So, what advice do you have to people that also want to try and make an impact? Because this app is something that can help and solve other people's problems. So, what advice do you have to people that want to make impact, but they really don't know how to start? Or they have started, but they don't feel like they are doing it. Like you said, you needed that nudge when that person commended your work. It encouraged you, and you felt like, oh, I can actually do something here. So, what advice do you have to such people?
I would say just keep on trying. Usually, I think people underestimate the effect of little small steps, continuous steps that you're making. Because you might start, let's say, you put in 30 minutes today, you don't get so much. And then because even take, for example, then when I would start coding, let's say I would look at a different app, because you can find website like Stack Overflow or just GitHub where you can see like some other things that have been made. I would look at their code, I'm like, someone actually wrote all these things. How can you even understand there's so many concepts to learn. But just that little consistent practice, even if you put in 20 minutes in a day into whatever you're doing, or 10 minutes, as long as it's consistent, you're doing it constantly. When you look back, give it 1 month, give it 2 months, you look at where you are compared to where you had been, you would see that yes, you've made quite a lot of difference. So I would say whatever it is that you find yourself to do, as long as you feel like it's relevant, it can help you, just keep on trying. Try and dedicate yourself, try and put out, it's not going to be easy, to be honest. You need to actually discipline yourself to try and, as much as possible, create time that you can put into whatever skill or whatever thing that you're learning.
So, thank you very much for your time. I learned a lot. I hope our viewers also learned a lot. I mean, something very important I took from the beginning of your story was that you were in your second year, though, yes, you intended on graduating well, but at your second year, that's when you witnessed the graduation and you felt like, oh, I can actually do this. I can actually give a speech. I can actually pursue this as a goal. You didn't feel it was too late because that's already half of the program you're doing. You were encouraged. You didn't tell. A lot of people will say, it's too late, I'm entering third year, why should I do that? But you encourage yourself and you put your mind to it. So my advice to everyone out there from what our guest has said is that it's not yet late. It's not yet late to start serving God. It's not yet late to make up your mind to go to heaven. It's not yet late to get serious in your academics. It's not yet late to get serious in that thing you're doing, get serious in that work. So we're very grateful for you coming today. We really appreciate the time. And we actually want to use this special opportunity to thank our Daddy, the man of God, for this opportunity to have this podcast. We also like to thank our Daddy Tony, for this opportunity to have Talk It Out. I want to thank you, our viewers, for staying tuned to this point of the video. I want to encourage you to like, to share, to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Talk It Out. Take care. Bye-bye.